So, in terms of being successful, do you believe that you can be successful? Do you believe you have what it takes and that success is going to pour into your life? Or are you limited in your beliefs of what it is that you want to accomplish? And perhaps that might be what's getting in your way. We are going to dive in today about how to take a first critical step towards success, and that is taking a look at what your limiting beliefs are. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Kristen and Charlie chat here on the Successibility channel. I'm Kristen Smedley here with my partner in crime, Charlie Collins, as we are walking through, some of them we're flying through and riding on lawnmowers through. If you've been following the channel, we are flying through these elements, principles that are crucial to success, and it transcends. We're going to be talking about the word transcends today. These things transcend blindness, disability, and all of the things. They are just elements to success. So, Charlie, transcending your limiting beliefs. We're going to talk about limiting beliefs and transcending them. Interesting topic today.
Transcend, yes. Moving away from, moving through, getting to the other side. I actually looked it up and read different definitions and all, and I'm like, oh, I knew, but it's just really cool to really dive into each word. Transcend, limiting, okay. I know what that is, but I also looked it up. Excuse me. And then beliefs. Oh, that's a big one. That has a lot of definitions. So, and I was thinking speed limits. Why are there limits? There's limits on speed to help keep us safe, pedestrians, so we don't crash. There's limits to how we do things and limits that are placed out there for us to help keep us safe or on course or things like that. But what is our beliefs? What is limiting us? Is it outside forces? Is it, people? Is it the life outside of us? Is it government? Is it state? What is it that limits us from being successful or, coming from a place of full purpose and a passion? And I couldn't believe when I learned, Kristen, that I am the one who's created or formed beliefs. And where did they come from? And why are they limiting me? And it's amazing when I started asking these types of questions. So a belief, a limiting one, maybe it comes from a thought, an idea, an opinion, or what we think outside of us is causing stuff that makes us feel stuck. And I started looking at that, right? I mean, what is it? Now, where do these come from? Well, again, they come from our ideas or thoughts. But where else could they come from? They could come from our families, our parents, our cousins, the environments we live in that are getting spoken and the way people are living their lives. We form our belief system around that. So I did not come from, I have 4 sisters and 1 brother. 4 out of 6 of us are all legally blind. But I didn't come from parents that said, you shouldn't do that. You're visually impaired. You're blind. Be careful of that. Don't do that. Hey, watch out over there. Hey, there's a step coming. That room's kind of dark. Be careful in there. Don't do that. I didn't have that coming around me or spoken around me all the time, but all the years of working with people, Kristen, I'm amazed at how many of them did have that. And so why am I saying, gosh, why are you so afraid? What is it that is holding you back so much? You have so much potential, but you don't see it because you're coming from a place of deep-rooted, subconscious, limiting beliefs about yourself, your potential, and your future. Now, I created mine. For some reason, I just had this low self-esteem that talked to myself. And maybe the thought was, I don't want to try this because I might fail. But then I conditioned my mind, and I kept repeating that, and it became a belief, and that belief then becomes stored in my subconscious. So as I maybe stepped outside of that and I wanted to go try something, all of a sudden that belief system came up and said, remember, you're not good at that. You don't know how to do that. You might fail. It's probably safer and smarter for you, Charlie, to, stay where you are, stay comfortable.
Well, right there, what you just said, that's exactly what I, as a mom of my blind sons, even my sighted daughter, we try to be so protective of them, but so many of us parents of blind and visually impaired kids that access the world differently, whatever it might be, are trying to, like you said, with the speed limit, keep everybody safe, right? And I had my own limiting beliefs because I had no information, was the other thing I wanted to point out. What are you putting in your ears? That was an episode we already talked about. Go back and look at that. What are you filling your mind with? If no one is telling you, young Charlie, that I believe that you can do this. I believe that a blind person can still do all of these things. If they're not giving you beliefs that aren't limiting, and you're left to your own devices of trying to figure it out, I think that's just as harmful as telling somebody that they can't do something. Now, I will say I watched. I was one of the luckiest moments as a mom that I ever had when I got to watch my Michael at 6 years old meet Eric Wymeyer, who had just become the first blind man to ever summit Everest. And I got to watch him meet him, and I watched the look on his face that sealed the deal for him, that there were not going to be limits in his mind of what he could do. The world was going to put limits on him, and that was his hardest struggle that he had to negotiate for the next almost 20 years, and he's still frustrated by that a lot of times. But in his own mind, he did not have a limiting beliefs about blindness. Maybe some other things of, I remember when he had to walk away from football because he was a lineman up until high school, and he was like, whoa, when you're my size, he's much shorter in stature for his age. And he's like, yeah, my size? You don't want to be a lineman against the guys that really grew up. So there were some limiting beliefs about football, maybe, but not in terms of blindness, because he met somebody that had just done something that to this day, he doesn't know a sighted person in his world that has summited Everest, let alone all the other summits of the world, highest summits of the world. So which is why Thriving Blind Academy is so important to me, and having written the book, to give people information about the limitless possibilities as opposed to limiting beliefs. But when no one was there for you, Charlie, to say, hey, Charlie, I'm going to feed your mind with this other information about limitless beliefs, you are left to your own, well, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to figure this out?
Yeah, well, our brains are meant to keep us safe. They're extremely complex and brilliant, but they were placed in us to keep us safe. We don't want to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and we need to eat, and we need to, be safe. And that's so when we step outside of that safety, that comfort zone, that familiar zone that we will just naturally build for ourselves, it kicks in our limiting beliefs. It says, don't do that. It says, stay safe. I don't, if I'm trying something new, I don't know the how. But Kristen, yesterday, this is what you brought up in our call. So on Mondays, we do a live call with our membership, our people in the Thriving Blind Academy. And, and I was saying, a lot of times I got excited to do something. Oh, that sounds so fun. I would love to do that. And then I would step into it a little bit. And I'd lean into it. And then I would, all of a sudden, I was so excited. But now I'm having this conversation with myself. Do you really think you should do that? You might look stupid. You might fail. You might get hurt. You might, get so embarrassed that you're going to run and hide. But I said something yesterday. I said, but once something happened, I started seeing myself successful at it. I don't know how, but I saw myself up on a stage giving a talk in front of a room of people. Are you kidding me? I took an F in high school when I had to do my first oral presentation. I couldn't bear to stand up in front of a room full of sighted kids. See, I thought it was because they were sighted, they were smarter than me. I mean, really, that my limiting belief was, oh, those of us, well, maybe only me, that are visually impaired are dumb. Never going to succeed in life. So why would I ever stand up in front of people and talk about something I didn't prepare for? Because why prepare? I'm not going to do well. I'm going to look stupid. I mean, these things crushed me. But all of a sudden, once I understood, I started transcending. I started seeing that I am creating the problem. I am keeping myself stuck. This thought process just arises when I try to step out of my comfort zone. What can I do about this? Well, what would it look like? Because if I'm getting this inner prompting that, other people would say, you really should go out and speak and share this message. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm really scared of that. But they saw it in me. Some people believed in me and said, I believe in you. Oh my gosh, that helped more than you could ever imagine. And then I started seeing it, Kristen, like you did with the boys. You went from a blocked mind of, oh my God, this life is going to be terrible. How is this possible? To, wait a minute, it is possible. You said it with Eric. What's the big deal? Because it's impossible for a blind person to do the hike, the summit. It's impossible. It's impossible for someone to go to the moon. Neil Armstrong would beg to differ. I don't think he can anymore, but but what I'm saying is, Eric said, I don't see blindness. There's no story. I am blind. That's where his story ended. I want to do Mount Everest. Now, my limiting belief would say, you can't do that. I mean, you're visually impaired, boom, you're not strong enough, But he saw himself doing it. He saw himself. Of course, we all have a mind's eye. So blindness is our eyes receive the images and send it to the brain. But you can shut your eyes and vision. You could see yourself successful. I could see myself walking up to a stage, turning to an audience, opening my arms and saying, welcome, hello, my name is Charlie, whatever it was. And it started feeling right. Do you have experience with this?
I do. Here's the thing, Charlie. This is what I love about that you brought up this point about yesterday and today about the seeing it first in your mind. It is extra. There's a TED Talk out there that I'll have to find and link to it in the description of this video, where they talk about the power of the brain. There was a swimmer that never got in the water. They just showed this swimmer the new mechanics of some kick or something. I'm totally summarizing it wrong, but it was either a kick or a hand motion, something like that. The guy never got in the water and practiced this. He just watched it over and over again. And then they had him visualizing himself in the water doing it. Gets into the race, into the water, and wins, cut the whatever millisecond down that he needed to with this new technique, simply because he visualized and got his brain trained to see him crossing the finish line using this technique and winning the race. And I have witnessed that. Here's what I think. When I witnessed it with Michael and Eric, what it did for me was, it's not, I don't want people to go, okay, I'm going to make a vision board and I'm going to visualize that I have massive success, even though I am on disability now and have no jobs on the horizon. I'm sitting on my couch and I'm frustrated. You don't just visualize. What it does, what I realized it did for me, and I think that you'd agree with this, Charlie, is that it gives you that motivation to start taking action to achieve it. And I will say that there are things like now with the children's book, and especially the short film that we're about to go into production. The short film that we're about to produce, I have been visualizing for 2 years that we are going to be winning the film festivals, on the red carpet and bringing in all of the media attention that this mission for changing the bias of blindness in the workplace needs. 2 years I've been running, on the hills at the park that I love, kicking a soccer ball, sitting in the morning with my affirmations and mantras, visualizing specific scenes of what the impact is that I want this thing to make. And we just got the funding and are just going into production 2 years later. But the thing is, every day visualizing, seeing it all happen gave me the motivation to take the actions little by little, making sure that it happens. So I don't want anyone walking away thinking, visualize, bam, it's done. If that were the case, my hair would not be standing up the way it is right now.
Well, I'll make sure to bring focus into that statement when I edit this one. Thank you for giving me more ammo.
Well, Kristen, the people that can see my hair is sticking up. I can't get it to stay down.
Transcend. Again, Transcend. I don't know I need to move. I don't know I need to go from where I am to where I want to be if I don't realize that something is causing me to feel stuck. And it's not outside of me. It's something like, I don't know, I just felt weird at times. Like, I feel there's more to life but I didn't know that I needed to move from where I am. I thought something outside of me, like my doorbell was going to ring. Somebody was going to come in and say, here's my wand, and zap. Now you have been, whatever the problem is, has been removed. It isn't like that, because I can't transcend until I understand beliefs shape where we go in life, and you will have limiting ones that are keeping you stuck. But that's okay, because that's the first step. Recognition. Recognize that I have a thinking process that isn't serving me. Okay, now how do I now I got to take a look at that and question that. Is that true? You said that yesterday on our call, and it was the timing. We had a group of people, and, it's like, is it true that I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough? We heard that from one of our participants yesterday. This person is so much smarter, but I knew from transcending my limiting beliefs that they are very smart at IT, at computer connection and language. I'm not. That's not my gift. That's not my lane. It doesn't mean I'm dumb. It means I'm smart in other areas. Or it's not so much about smart. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Now, I've had to learn some IT things and some computer stuff so I could be self-sufficient and operate computers and stuff. But I don't know the depth of what those people know, and I don't care. It doesn't make me less than or a dumb blind guy like I used to think. What is my gifts or my talents or my something that brings out my passion and my interests? Maybe focus on doing a little bit more of that and start being kinder and visualize yourself succeeding in that area of your life, and trust. By coming into the academy, coming through our courses, being in the right group, having people, support you and help push you forward, you will be successful. You will thrive.
I have a very short version of a 6-year story that happened that totally solidifies what you just said, Charlie.
Hold on. Kristen has a short version of something. Everyone, let's hang on. Here we go.
Here we go. Set the timer. Let's see. It's a 6-year story that I'm going to cram into about 97 seconds. But years ago, when I started my research organization, there was a guy that embarrassed the heck out of me in front of a very big influential group of people and said, this little mom has no business in this ring because she doesn't know anything about scientific research. And I was crushed, but the competitive side of me, that's how I got back off that couch that I was crying on for a couple of days, because I'm like, oh my God, he's right. I was only trained as an elementary school teacher. I am, quote, just a mom. Yes, I have these blind kids. I don't know anything about the research, and dang, I wish I would have paid attention in my biology class in high school. But then I thought, the pure competitive side of me just wanted to prove him wrong. So I was like, okay, what is true? To your point of asking about what is true. Yeah, I don't know the science. I don't know the science at all. I started to try to learn the science. That wasn't going well. So then I thought, who do I know that knows the things that I don't know? I'm going to have them do it. Built this team of people, right? So fast forward 6 years later, that same guy and I were only 12, two of only 12 people invited from the entire world to speak at the FDA to get this new gene therapy approved. And my little 3-minute speech that came from the heart of a mom and from my perspective on the industry turned into an op-ed on the Hill the next day. And then it became an international study that we were building Thriving Blind Academy on the statistics that came out of it. So the point of that is not, oh my God, Kristen, that's amazing. The point is I had to transcend the belief somebody was putting on top of me and not letting it sink into my mind that, oh, he's right. I am just this little mom that can't make a dent in this field. Once I got out of my head, and you better believe I was envisioning I was envisioning out succeeding him by leaps and bounds because I was so mad. But it's such a testament to, if I would have stayed in that belief that he told me about myself, none of that would have happened, and we wouldn't have been where we are today. I still would have been crying on my couch with a voodoo doll of that guy.
And you are amazing, Kristen, because you just told a 6-year story in 113 seconds. Progress, not perfection. Hey, you know? This you and I are bringing into our different programs: Thriving Blind in Business, Thriving Blind Parenting, Thriving Blind Transitions. We're bringing this module that we will dive deeper into and help recognize and transcend. That's a process. That doesn't mean for me, oh, I see that I keep saying that about myself, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, you said it earlier. How can I turn that around? I am not good enough. How about we try? I am good enough. In the past, I used to tell myself I wasn't, but starting today, I am good enough. And I am going to lean into this, and I'm going to appreciate myself and say, yay, not in a condescending way, but like, yeah, good, I did it. That it's going to keep building your esteem. So when you find that it's coming up, that limiting belief, turn it around. I am worthy. I can ask for help. It's okay if somebody says no, because one of mine was, I always get no's. Well, that wasn't true because I never asked. I just assumed I would get a no. Who would want to help me? I'm not that great. I don't have much to offer this world. I mean, these things were crushing me. And I said, wait, I do have things to offer this world. And I am going to ask. I started turning them around. And just by reaffirming, I started transcending. I started building beliefs that were supporting me and the work and the impact I wanted to make. And life got better.
I'm sitting here thinking about the folks that are listening and understanding everything we're saying, but you just still have a limiting belief if this is even possible. Here's what I would challenge you to do. Do it for a month. And start paying attention every day to how many limiting beliefs go on in your mind, and do we're saying the turnaround statement. There's also our buddy Morton, in our Lego man in the Thriving Blind community, that Sentence to Blindness is his book. He talks about when limiting beliefs come into his mind, he goes, stop. He's got this big stop sign. Stop and swap it with something that's positive, like you just said, Charlie, with totally doing a turnaround statement. I'm telling you, and I would love to hear some follow-up with this. Do it for 30 days. Commit to that. Make an agreement. Watch that video. Make an agreement with yourself and us virtually here that you try it for 30 days. Every time one of those beliefs comes in, I'm not going to go for that sponsorship of this project because they're probably going to say no. Whoops. Wait, let me turn that around. I am going to ask for a sponsorship for this project because they would love to come in and help what we're doing here. So 30 days, the contest is on, and I want to hear your feedback as you're progressing through that. If it's changing the outcomes in your life and changing your mind.
Yes, and that's it. I love it because do it one day at a time. Wake up, make a decision. You said it. Commit to yourself. Commit to never-ending and constant improvement. I'm thinking about our YouTube channel going, oh my gosh, all of this stuff is intertwined and talks to each other. You know? And it's like, and it's okay. I just wake up in the morning and today I'm going to question my thoughts. That's it. I'm not going to beat on myself. I'm not going to constructively or destructively review that I'm off. I'm just going to lovingly question my thoughts. Maybe I won't have answers today, but I'm just going to start practicing questioning. And you'll see, that's what I started to do. And you'll see how this will open the door to more possibilities and a life of true thriving.
There you go. It's one of the secrets to success. Take that first step and transform those limiting beliefs one day at a time, like Charlie said. This has been another great Kristen and Charlie chat here, Charlie.
It has. And do your thing. Come on, ask them to you know what.
I was on vacation last week. I gotta shake the sand out of my head and remember what I'm doing here to close this out. I honestly though, I really just had such a good time with talking about this that I'm like, okay, wait a minute, we gotta wrap this up. So let's do that. Put in the comments, give us some feedback as you're making these choices every day to transcend your limiting beliefs, and do us a favor, do your friends and colleagues a favor. If there's somebody out there that you know that would benefit from this video, share it with them, and make sure that if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe. And do you hit the bell, Charlie, to get the new videos that come out?
Yes, and click the all, and then when we post weekly, you'll get an update, and then you'll quickly stop what you're doing and tap and come and watch us. And listen.
And listen. Good stuff. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Kristen and Charlie chats here on the Successability channel.